Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers. The villainous look. That's for the YouTube people. The villain.
Oh, man.
The flared nostrils. The Mr. T.
What's wrong with him today?
What's gonna happen in the next fight? Pain.
People are like, what the hell is he talking about? To you young bucks out there, y'all need to go movie history.
Right. Rocky. Just pick which one.
Clubber Lang.
Yes. You know what? Clubber Lang is a good, true testament of just the fight. Just your energy.
Right.
Kind of even what we're talking about today. Just like what we talked about on the live.
Yes.
Because I don't have. You have what I don't have.
And I want it.
Hate.
Let's welcome these people. Welcome
Yes.
to Sipping on Excellence,
Welcome.
y'all. Thank you for joining us for another week.
Another wonderful podcast.
Yeah, we got
have in
some
store.
We got some good stuff planned for y'all today. It's good to be back, man. Saturday.
Yes, it is.
It was nice out today.
Oh my goodness.
We trained today. We had a great live. If y'all don't tune into the lives, y'all are missing out.
Yes.
But you can always go on all of our platforms and see the live. Not live. Because we save them. We save them all.
Yeah.
And we tackle some really good topics.
Yeah, we have some necessary topics to get at today.
Yeah, you know.
But we always do.
Yeah, and a little recap of what we talked about was what Coach started in on, hate.
Yes.
And just
hate.
so much of it, you
So
know.
much.
And one thing that Coach pointed out earlier was how close the two opposites are, love and hate.
Love and hate.
Like they're so opposite, but yet they're both so intense, right?
You know a movie. Love. Oh, love is coming in. Love is coming in. Hate. Radio Raheem.
Four finger rings.
My brother. Why you so aggressive?
Right. Anyway, that was, we touched on conflict and wars and how we all agree taking sides. What side of war is right? There isn't a side that's right.
No.
War in itself there's no winner.
Yes.
And so that's what we kind of went through and touched on that today. So if you guys go check out IG Live either on mine, Atlanta Hunt, or on SOE Podcast,
Or mine.
or on Coach KJ, we think these topics are important enough to triple post them because we talk about what you guys want to hear about, which is cool.
But they always don't want to talk about it.
No, they want to hear, but then they get in their feels when we actually when we start punching people in the mouth. But that's what we do.
Yeah. Getting people, just get out of your way, man. Start talking. Open your mouth. Say something.
Exactly.
You got something to say. You're just not saying it. And that is what also leads to more hate.
Yeah.
That
right?
congestion.
And we talked about why people hate. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of it is born from jealousy.
Yeah.
You know, wanting what you thinking somebody said this earlier. You don't hate somebody that you feel is less than you.
Right.
You don't hate on somebody that's not doing as well as you.
Mm-hmm.
You always hate on somebody who you feel has an upper hand on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that simple. It's like, why would I be jealous of somebody who doesn't have shit?
Think about like big guys. I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not even a big guy. I know big guys.
Right.
But people like to test us. They come after us
Yeah.
because I'm a big guy. They equate being big with fighting and Man, I am not a fighter. But don't push
But
me.
you will get knocked the fuck out.
You better stop playing. I
ain't looking for a fight,
man.
but
and I
ain't no punk either.
And this is the type of fighter I am. I'm not a fighter, but I'm like, I want you to hit me. Please hit me. Like, I want to take on that first hit so I can just get into it. I'm not into it
Right.
yet, but hit me.
Because you saying something to me, you can't. There's nothing you can say to me to make me want to throw hands.
Nah, not at all.
You touch me,
Yeah, we're going to have
we got problems.
Yeah.
You got problems.
I'm going to pull your jaw out your mouth.
I wish y'all could see kind of when he demonstrates how you can control somebody.
But it's true.
He literally will grab your jaw.
Yeah, like somebody coming at you, and they're just yapping. If you got timing, you reach in, you grab,
Just grab their bottom jaw.
pull it to the ground. They will go flying to the ground.
I'm not even going to ask how he knows that.
Things happen.
Right.
Things happen. That and choking someone.
Yeah. You hit somebody in the throat, right?
Yeah. I mean, or just grab them, and people immediately go
caught off guard.
Yeah, they go into emergency mode, as opposed to easily pushing through and out, and you can get somebody off of you. But I'm not here for that. I'm here to choke you out.
Right? I ain't here to save you.
Right.
Oh,
not what I'm doing the choking.
But yeah, so today that's what we went in on as to why people hate and how that came about, and then just kind of transitioned into discussing how with all that hate, you now have AI, which can propagate that hate because it can almost make up its own hate, and which is, I mean, they made this statement last night. And see if this stat, I was blown away.
This is Bill Maher.
Yeah, this is on Bill Maher last night. Yeah. This stat, he said that in 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks that ChatGPT was out, it was either the first 2 weeks or the first 2 months, 450 million users. He's like, it took Facebook years to get to 450. Mm-hmm. Then he's like, therein lies the problem.
Yeah. And
with all of that being put out there, hate can spread like wildfire now, like more so than ever, and people sit back and just watch it.
Yeah.
And then we jumped into Jada, and her entanglements. But if anybody saw that episode, she got
the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, she got issues. So yeah, it tied in perfectly to kind of where we're going in today, and that's why we left off the live with Jada.
We left off the live with me singing.
Oh yes,
hey Kenny Rogers, what you know about that?
Please, man, I grew up listening to Kenny.
Man, I mean, think
my
about
mom used to play Kenny Rogers all the time.
That is
Gambler.
That's his quintessential song.
Yeah.
That's his everything. Yeah. You gotta know when to hold 'em.
Know when to fold 'em.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run. And that is exactly what we're talking about today.
How do you know? And this topic came from a listener.
Yeah.
And she gave us an idea. It was like, how do you know when to walk away?
Which goes to show you, we pay attention if you give us information.
Yes.
We utilize everything.
And we don't have a title for this podcast yet, but it's on the realm of, she's like, when do you walk away? Mm-hmm. Should you walk away? How do you know when to stay or when to go? And so we're going to get into all the ins and outs, and not just talking about relationships, but job, home. When do I walk away from this state, this city? Should I move? Should I do, there's so many things we can unpack.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
That being said, we decided on a drink that makes you want to take flight, as Coach KJ says. It's called the Pan Am. It's an ounce of mezcal, an ounce of bourbon, dash of bitters, dash of simple syrup, served over ice, man.
Now boarding.
Flight 301.
Right. Oh my goodness. Cheers.
Brother.
That's some potent stuff, boy.
Woo. We gonna get loose today.
You know what it was? It was getting rid of the rest of that bourbon. That's what it is. Right. I was like,
yeah, it's a little more than an ounce. I mean, yeah.
I'm at the Uber home.
You know where your car is.
Exactly. Wow, this guy,
dude. When to walk?
Yeah, what you got?
I want to start it out by asking. Let's start with the job.
Okay.
And I'll talk about a job where I'll start with the job that I had when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And I knew it was time for me to walk away when my performance was no longer what it was.
You told me about this job.
I had a job where I was doing telemarketing, and I was raising money for like the police athletic league or something. I was 16 years old or something like that. And I was killing it the first few months. But as I'm sitting there and the calls became monotonous, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. There's only so many different ways you can ask somebody to donate you some money. And then I started seeing my performance start declining, and I was like, shit. And so my boss came and talked to me. He's like, yeah, what's happening? What's going on? Do you want to take some time off to kind of recharge? And I knew then if he was coming to me, it was time to go, and it was probably time to go a month before that. But I was like, I can pull this through because I ain't no quitter. And you got to know when to fold them, because at that point, it's affecting my performance.
Yeah, and you're not recreating. You're still doing the same thing. You're in the mill.
And all your boss sees
is numbers.
Is the end. Yeah. They don't remember you killing it. They just remember where you are now. And he's looking at me like, yeah. He's like, take some time off. I was like, I'm not coming back. I know this isn't for me. Technically,
you were seeing the end as well.
Yeah.
Because you were killing it. And when you stopped killing it, you weren't looking at the end. You were just looking at the day-to-day.
Exactly.
So your eye wasn't on the prize anymore either.
At all.
So you saw it, but you didn't have a space of acknowledging it. He acknowledged it and pointed it out. You're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not there anymore.
Well, and some people may say, well, then why didn't you stick it out and just buckle down and really hone in? Because that wasn't my purpose. And because it wasn't my purpose, it was time to walk.
Yeah. Don't you love I call it the people say? People always say you should. People always say, but they're not living your space. They're not living your purpose or your space.
On that note, real quick, patients will always come to me and say, people say back surgery doesn't work. I hear that every day. People say back surgery doesn't work. And I'm like, I guarantee these are people who've never had back surgery. Well, yeah, then they have no clue.
Yeah. And
people always have something to say.
Everything's gauged from a larger scheme. Like everything's lumped into one.
Yep.
Every back surgery is not the same.
Exactly.
Your back surgery is not mine.
No two people are the same. No two injuries are the same. None of that. And so when people say, I just thought that as you brought that up, I was like, yeah, okay, this is one of those.
People say when it starts off that way, run.
Stop listening at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you're not listening to yourself.
So that was my first sort of, all right, dude, it's time to walk away, and from a work standpoint. Now, I could fast forward that to when I was finishing med school, applying for residency and having struggles. I could have been like, well, you know what? I'm not as sought after as I thought, or the way that I applied I did it wrong. And I could have been like, well, maybe nobody wants me, so maybe I should just walk away.
But do you think that's also that?
But I didn't walk away.
Yeah, you didn't walk away, but do you the thought pattern of people not coming after the way you thought they should, do you equate that to how easy it was in the past and how people were coming after you, like scholastically?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
am I good enough? No, that can't be it. And then I realized it was my mistake for putting all my eggs in one basket. And so I was like, all right, now I just got to make it happen. You know, there's plenty of people that's like, maybe this isn't for me. I'll just do something else. So that right there wasn't the time to walk away, because that was my purpose and is my purpose. Whereas telemarketing wasn't, sales wasn't my thing. So it was an easy decision to make, to say, I'm out, you know? And that's just, you guys, I'm warming you up with one example, because that's just the easy part.
Right.
You know, walking away, that whole concept is hard.
It is.
In many aspects of life, you know. I think about you being a divorce guy, walking away from a marriage. That's got to be tough. Even if it's, we're both out.
Oh, yeah.
You're both still walking away.
Well, I had, kind of a story
Yeah.
that leads up to that. It's, I know we're all over the place with the topic, but there are all circumstances about walking away. It's like, initially, the idea, okay, we're going through this divorce, we're going through this process, it's like, okay, well, you need to try to, of course, with the church, with friends, family, but just try. You need to try. But I realized that what was happening was I was spending more energy doing what others wanted. And the moment that pastor said, when I told him that, that we were getting separated, divorced, so on, he was like, well, what did you learn? And I realized in that moment, it's like, okay, it always comes back to me. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, I have to take a deeper dive into other aspects. Like, okay, have I done everything that I can possible to make this work? Not what she's not doing, but what am I doing to make this work? And then when I turned all those cards over and realized, okay, well, I tried and it's still not there. Okay, now I can go. In that moment of clarity, it was amazing. What happened?
As long as we're getting it, because I didn't push record there.
Yeah, 2-man team. That's why we work double shift.
Hence, I don't know how long this podcast is going to be, because we don't have a timer. So we're just going to keep it rolling.
Yeah. It's all right. I can keep track of the numbers over here. I know we get to a certain part, like, oh, yeah, that's it.
Oh, man.
The fact that I know the intro and the outro, I can just say, you got to know when to walk away.
I'm out.
I'm walking away right now.
Right this minute. Oh, man. I looked down. I was like,
oh, yeah.
I don't see a timer at all.
You know what's so funny? We're so automated that sometimes it's like the drive home, and you're like, how did I get home?
Did I stop at that light? Or I don't remember, because you're just going.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are here, But it's a good thing that it's a seamless conversation.
Yeah. I knew that for myself that I turned over all my cards. I flipped over all the rocks. However you want to phrase it.
Right.
I did them all. And for myself, I was like, oh, I'm good. But that moment of clarity, he opened that moment of clarity, made me realize things. And then I started like, oh, okay. That's what allowed me to be okay.
Do you think people, we'll talk about walking away and then reasons to stay. Do you think people, and I don't know, so I'm guessing, do you think people fear, they don't walk away because they fear what may be uncomfortable, or they fear the unknown?
Oh, I was going to say, it's all about the fear of the unknown.
Like, if I quit this job is killing me. I'm stressed out. My boss treats me like shit. It's it's not a healthy environment, but I need to work. But if I leave this, what am I going to do? So I'm going to stay in an unhealthy workspace where I get abused by my boss because I'm afraid of not working. But then your performance suffers, your life suffers, your home life suffers.
Home life, the people around you, everyone is suffering because of you.
Because you can't walk away.
Right.
You know, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting thought. Now, if you flip it and you start asking, when should I stay? Like, should I? Because the number one question is, should I walk away? Mm-hmm. And I think my answer is going to be simplistic. You should walk away if it's not healthy for you. You should stay if you see the potential of greatness.
It doesn't get any simpler than that.
You should stay if it's your purpose. If you don't know your purpose, then that's a whole nother issue. So people have dreams, and we always tell people, follow your dreams, stick with it, don't walk away from it. But which is good, but if you're chasing that dream and what you're having to do to get to that dream is making you poor, broke, homeless, uneducated, whatever it may be, you can't chase that dream. You're chasing something that's never going to happen. At what point do you say, okay, enough's enough? We live in a town full of dream chasers. Mm-hmm. This is what LA's known for. Hollywood, the land of dreams. This is where dreams are made. You know, but how many people never make it?
Right.
And at what point do you say, do I keep chasing this dream, or do I walk away and choose another path? It's a tough one.
It's a tough one, but I think what happens for most people when they're chasing dreams, they're chasing others' dreams. They're not necessarily chasing theirs. Or they have an idea what the dream looks like, but they're not necessarily put forth the effort to really hone in on what that dream really is and how to make it happen. I think a lot of people have this misconception of their dreams. It's like, this is this dream, but these are my thoughts, and neither one of them are aligning. But you're seeing this, but you're doing this.
Right.
They don't match up.
Like people who wanted the dream life of stability, kids, marriage, family, but they won't walk away from an abusive husband or an abusive wife, because outside of that, they have the things that they always dreamed of, the dream life. When you think about it, they don't really have the dream life.
No.
They have components of a dream that they placed in their head as an idea without having the life that they dreamed of. Because they're miserable.
Yeah. And they also have to ask, is it really their dream? Or is it, especially when it comes to family, lifestyle, or is it someone else's dream that was perpetuated onto you and you
that happens so much. Yeah. I mean, think about people who became professionals. I know so many people that went to medical school or to law school because their family wanted or went to college because their family said they have to, not because going to college was a big dream of theirs. Yeah. It's just, oh, well, this is what everybody in my family did, or I'm the first to go to college, so I have to.
Happens
all the time, right?
All the time.
I know plenty of people who went to medical school who are doctors who hate being a doctor. Mm-hmm. But they went because their family wanted them to, or they have multiple doctors in their family, and this is what my family does, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or I have an ex. She all her life she wanted to be an OB. She wanted to be a doctor. She became an OB. She became a doctor, but she never learned how to assess the life of a doctor that there has to be some level of you're working with women especially. There have to be some level of bedside manner. There have to be, different components.
Right.
You look up her name and you'll see 1 star.
Wow.
2 stars maybe.
Wow.
Wasn't very polite, wasn't very nice. Came in for this. I was like, wow. But it didn't surprise me at the same time.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, are you ever going to quit or retire?
We had this conversation the other day.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you got to know when you're done. And for me, knowing when I'm done means the first day my hands shake is when I'm done operating. I'm not done being a doctor. I will be a doctor until I die. But the first day my hands shake is the day I'm no longer a surgeon. And I've worked with surgeons who look like they got Parkinson's trying to operate.
Really?
And I'm like, dude, call it quits.
Scary.
But it's hard because your purpose at some point in time has an end, or what you thought your purpose was has an end, and you have to find a new purpose.
So is it at that point, is it their purpose or their ego?
It's what they love to do.
Yeah.
It's what they love to do. And if that's all they know,
yeah,
they're like, I don't want to give this up. And finally you have to say, you know what? I can't do this safely anymore. And then you develop a new purpose because your life's not over. Just that skill of your life is done.
So what it sounds like is it's their purpose was their purpose to be a surgeon, or was their purpose to save people? Because if your purpose is to save people,
both,
you can repurpose
how you do it.
How you do it. Your
I say my purpose is being a surgeon to do this. The higher purpose is to help people.
Correct.
I can help people in many other ways. I just have to refocus how I do it.
Correct.
So you're not walking away from the purpose. You're walking away from the skill that you once had. If my left hand gets chopped off, I'm not operating on people anymore, but I can still be a doctor and change people's lives. So that purpose, the overall purpose is there. How I do it changes.
Well, that was graphic.
This shit happens. Shoot.
Well, you going to these third worlds, boy.
I've been places in the world where you're like, yeah.
You might come back with nubs.
You come back with missing a few.
You come back with no shins.
But hey, like your boy Kevin Hart saying, what I'm supposed to do with that? You ain't got no arm? You ain't got no shoulder?
I was thinking about the dad on King of the Hill.
Oh,
because
okay.
he doesn't have any shins, so he walks with his legs straight.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's just what we walk away from, and our ability to do so says a whole lot. Like we were talking earlier about a fight.
Yes.
Right now, because I know what I have to lose, if somebody walks up to me and slaps me, you slapped me. Does it make me soft or a little bitch or whatever it may be if I don't punch him back in the face?
First of all, if a man slap you, there's a problem.
You know what I mean? But think about this. If I punch him and I break my hand,
oh my God, you're screwed.
or if I hit him hard enough, and you see this, he falls, hits his head, gets a bleed, and he dies, my life is over, whether it's self-defense or not, all because some dude slapped me.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me in that sense because I'm a logical thinker and I'm thinking about my life. Fuck his. I'm thinking about mine. The smart thing to do is walk away.
Correct.
Now, if it's a fight and he's coming at me, I gotta get him off me.
Correct.
Different story. Like you've seen those memes where big dude, you're walking with your wife, big dude walks by and smacks your girl on the butt. What do? Do you save face with your girl? Because she's looking at you like, you going to let that go? You look at him, you're like, damn, that's The Rock. You know? Man, did I have to? Why did it have to be you?
I'm coming after the kneecaps.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that the moment to walk away?
Yeah.
You know? Is it different if he put hands on her versus hands on you? You know? And it's both done in front of her.
Right.
You know, so there's so much to unpack in that 2 seconds. And your mind has to wrap around it like, what are the consequences? Do I retaliate in anger?
In fragments of a second. Too.
Yeah. Do I retaliate right now? Or do I think about the consequences and deal with her not respecting me in the moment on the ride home?
I mean, you think about it. It is a 405 high speed to a screeching halt car accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And you don't have the left or the right lane. Do you slam on the brake? Do you turn left? Do you drive in? You're looking at the mirror. You're looking at every...
In an instant.
Exactly.
And there's no right answer to that, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, what do you do?
Maybe think of iRobot. When the robot had to decide,
Yeah.
there was a 35% chance that she would live. I let her go.
Yeah. You know, it's moments like that. For example, you get in a heated argument with somebody, or should I say, it's a disagreement in the moment. Mm-hmm. You feel yourself, your buttons getting pushed. And somebody may be not fighting fair, meaning they're going for the jugular. Do you stop it, walk away and come back? Or do you retaliate by going to the jugular as well? Knowing or do you try to cut deeper?
I know myself. So for me personally, I'll walk away from it.
Yeah.
Because I cut deep.
Yeah.
And I cut hard and I cut fast. And I will feel bad about it.
And when you guys both cut deep,
yeah,
who wins? Like we were talking about earlier.
No one wins.
And people think wars are just the big war's fault. No, the everyday battles.
Yeah.
Who wins?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm trying to shit down in your throat. At the end of it, I mean, I'm trying to shit down your throat and make you swallow it and shit that out. That's vicious.
That's
vicious.
That's
and
vicious.
I know that about myself. So I have to move away from it.
Do you think, here's the other thing too, because we bring this back to, because everything's about relationships.
Yes.
Personal relationships with
all
people.
the time.
And do you think I believe wholeheartedly that there are people or instances where people walk away too soon.
Oh, yeah.
Things get a little bit tough, or you have a little misunderstanding, and then you're out. Like, I was that dude in my past who used to cut people off. Like, if I'm dating you, you do one thing that just sets me off a little bit. There's no, let's talk about it, none of that. I'm out.
Yeah.
And the reason why I believe it's that way is because there was no love involved to make me stay.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. I can say almost the same thing about me. After divorce, the little dating in between.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was I would go out with people and then certain things would happen and I'm like, I was like, don't. But see, I'm one of those people. I'm like, I'm telling you, don't keep doing that. Don't keep pushing that button. And you got like 2 or 3 times, and after a while, just go. I can literally look right past you.
Yeah,
like you never existed.
I applaud you for actually warning people.
Yeah,
me, I will tell you.
But I didn't tell them.
I would
walk away.
I would walk away. I would walk away, and people wouldn't even know that I walked away.
Oh, like one of those mid sentence, like looking past, gone.
It wasn't even like, because this was before ghosting was a thing.
Yeah,
you know, it would be just, I got nothing to talk to you about anymore.
Yeah,
you
gave them the walk off home run.
You're right. I'm out.
Where you take the
Not only do I walk off, I walk to the dugout, walk to the club, walk to the locker room. I'm out.
got dressed and got your car.
Everybody's still sitting there like, is he coming back?
We won, didn't we?
We out. Done. But yeah, I think those instances, did I walk away too soon? Mm-hmm. And I think there are times when people can't take the heat a little bit, so they bounce. It's that fight or flight kind of thing. They get worked up and they're like, I don't know what to do here. So, or I don't understand these feelings. So because I don't understand them, I'm out.
People do that a lot with work.
Yeah.
With businesses, I should say.
Okay.
Their involvement. It's like if it didn't go well, it's like, oh well, you know what? This just didn't work out. I'm gonna move on. And you might have been one or two calls away from getting the boom.
Right. That luck, the luck that everybody talks about.
Yeah. Yeah. Never honed the skill though. You hadn't even learned how to hone the skill.
Because people, especially now, they want it too quick because they think it's quick money. Did you see that meme, that interview with Ice Cube?
No.
So Ice Cube was on a podcast and made a statement that was so real. He's like, you want to be successful or you want to start a business? He's like, whatever it is, he's like, you got to be willing to grind for 5 years and not make a cent. And then you'll know that this is what you should be doing. He's like, too many people aren't willing to do that.
No.
You don't grind for a few months and be like, oh, this is not working, so I'm out. You're walking away too soon if you're letting that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what you do. Think about what I do. It's a daily grind for a long time making no money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Because the eye is on the prize.
And I've told you about this in what I do, especially with coaching and fitness, but mainly with coaching. Everybody that's a coach coaches coaches. That's what I call it Barbizon.
Yeah,
so
teaching models.
Yeah, all the models, former models, teaching models that were former models of Barbizon.
It's just
a vicious cycle, man. The promise of getting out there, but at the end of the day, you're right back where you started.
Or people who are like, for example, I want to be an Instagram influencer. Okay, and if you're not an influencer in 6 weeks because you haven't put in the time, you're not doing the daily
viral
grind.
Yeah, you haven't got the viral video yet.
All I need is one viral video and then I'm good. Yeah, that's not how it works.
No.
You got to do that daily grind. It's got to be, you got to eat, shit, breathe your brand in order to, and then when it doesn't hit, you're like, oh, I'm just going to walk away from my brand instead of walking away from your methods.
Yeah. And honestly, when people do that, I think one of the issues is they don't really know what their brand is or why they're trying to issue their brand to the world, because you're trying to present yourself to the world. You want them to say, hey, that's the guy I need to go to for what? Because you don't know your why.
Or number one, are you filling a need?
Yeah.
Is there a need for what you're offering?
What's the people that get out there, like, what's the pain threshold? What are people going through? Then why is it that you're so important to do it? Because you've been there? What's your story? Know your story.
What makes you, number one, capable? What makes you relatable? What makes people want you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what's going to stop people from walking away from you? Mm-hmm. Because people are very fickle and they have attention deficit.
Right.
We all have attention deficit disorder.
We all do.
That's why listen to this podcast. If we don't grab people's attention within the first 3 minutes, you know what I mean? They'll listen to it for a little while and they're like, oh, we'll come back to it later. But it's because you're not feeding them something that they want. So if your brand or your product or your service isn't grabbing that attention and holding it, you only got a few seconds.
Right.
If you can't do that, people are walking away from you. And because of that doesn't mean you should walk away from your brand, because your brand is you. You should walk away from your tactics.
Right. Right.
Stick to your goal. change the vehicle to getting there. If your Pinto is too slow for you, then spend a little extra money and buy the Corvette. You know, speed up the process, get it there quicker, faster, more efficient, but still head towards your goal. Don't just say, I'm not getting there, so I'm no longer going to ride in a car.
It doesn't work that way.
No, you know,
It doesn't work that way.
And I think people give up too quick on one side, and they hold on too long on the other side.
Yeah.
I think women in relationships hold on too long. They will go through it. And I think this is the case depending on the age. Now, you guys out there can give me shit for this if you want.
I was going to say, I think that women too long that are
Older,
but I also want to say that are not married. I think that women that are married have a tendency to give up quicker. The run-ins that I've seen.
And I think they give up quicker when they're younger.
This is true.
Because when they're younger, they think, oh, this isn't going exactly. I'm having to put in too much work. I'm out because I can get another one. Single parents stick for too long. Mm-hmm. They will stick and be miserable because they think it's going to make life better for their kid. And that marriages that stick together purely because they think a divorce is going to fuck up their child, that's worse than the divorce.
Yes, because that is nothing but toxic behavior.
Because you can...
Don't you love that? Toxic.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We were talking about this earlier, how your kids absorb and everything that you see. You could try to play nice with the kids and say nice things, but they see how you and your spouse don't communicate. They see that you guys can't stand each other, but we're only together because we're trying to raise the kids. You can live in separate homes and be great parents. Seriously, right?
Yeah.
As long as one's not bitter.
Yeah.
You know? And so...
Had that conversation with someone once. It was not good.
Walking away from a marriage doesn't mean you're walking away from being a parent. Two different things.
Yeah. Because this girl used to be in the gym, used to come in every day. Now, we're talking about a year and a half, 2 years after your divorce. And they had a kid together. And all she used to do was talk about, him, whatever with this other girl that he was cheating on with, that he was with her, and kept going on about the kid, and just always angry. And she's always telling the same story over and over again. And at one point, I just stopped her. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you understand the energy that you're bringing in to this gym? And having the same damn conversation with us is the energy you're bringing around your daughter. And that daughter is going to be in front of her husband, your ex, and she's going to have this attitude or energy with him that was unwarranted.
Because she's mimicking you.
Exactly. That's all she sees. And you say that that's not what you're doing in front of her, but she feels how you feel towards him. That's always going to go towards him. You need to monitor that. But you don't understand. I was like, you don't tell me what I don't understand.
Right.
I've been married, divorced, and remarried. You didn't know that, but you were too busy judging and planning because you're too caught into your mess.
So let's, but that's.
I had to punch her in the jaw.
Oh,
she never talked to me again.
But you know what? I bet she's still thinking about that shit.
You know who it is? The one that we were filming one time video. We were in our corner, and she walked in front of me with weights, like in front of the video. And I was like, really? Is this what we're doing today?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Her.
Yeah. Had to lay her out one time.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
I did. I sure do.
I think something else that people tend to not walk away from or know how to walk away from is themselves.
Speak on that.
I think our own negative energy, our own, we get in our heads and we can't walk away from those thoughts. We don't know how to get outside of that, take a step back and look at ourselves. Instead, we hold on to it and we blame everybody else. Instead of saying, you know what, if this room were empty, could I sit with the person I am and be okay? Do I like this? And if I don't, how do I walk away from me and become a better person? Mm-hmm. Too many people don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I need to walk away, not only walking away to be a better person, the number one thing that we all need to do that we have such a hard time doing, we need to learn to walk away from our past. Because we are all letting our past dictate our present.
Our present and future.
Yes.
The future we don't have yet.
Exactly. We're letting our past fuck with our present. We don't know how to let shit go. And that is the problem. You get into a situation with a friend, a significant other. You hash it out. You forgive each other. But yet we continue to allow it to interrupt and plague our ability to be happy because we can't walk away from something we forgave already. We didn't say forget it, but you walk away from it. Stop bringing it up.
But you never forgave it.
Exactly.
With the most operative word, you said forgive. You never forgave.
And if you can't forgive and it's always going to plague you, then walk away from the situation entirely. Because you're bringing it up. And this happens men and women alike.
Yeah.
We can't walk away from it. And now there's things in our past that we can never walk away from because it changes our lives forever.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm put in jail for triple homicide and I end up getting out, I can't walk away from that past. No matter how much of a different person I am, that is now a stain on my DNA. Right? And just like, you know, you hear this all of the big thing now is a woman's body count, right? If you were a porn star or you're 20 years old and you slept with 100 guys, you can't walk away from that and it go away because those 100 guys still exist. And whether you like it or not, it has changed you because each one of them has had an effect on you. Men the same way, but in a different way. Men have learned from those past relationships and it has changed them as well. And it's either positively affected them in, I'm learning about me as a man, I'm learning how to try to better understand women, or it changes them in a way where they're like, I don't care about women. Mm-hmm. So it can be either way. And so we try to walk away from our past and leave it because our past gives us social currency. Her past gives her social debt.
Interesting. Never heard it that way. Scary.
You know, it's scary, right? But it's the nature of it's human nature.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's not just men that are saying and thinking that. It's
No.
women feel the exact same way. Matter of fact, women kind of create a lot of that mindset wrapped around it.
Yes.
She's a hussy, whore. Like, you don't know her. That happened 15 years ago, but you're calling her that now.
You don't know what her mentality was, but it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Because perception's reality. Mm-hmm. You're a dude, and if you got 50 bodies, oh, you're a pimp.
How does the phrase go? Everything you think is real. Everything you think is real.
Yeah, you know, and so it goes along the lines of getting back to self and being able to acknowledge what's wrong with self and walking away from that. Mm-hmm. And then it goes along the lines of looking at self and how do I walk towards purpose, and how do I just, if I walk away from the negative shit instead of walking away from everything, walking away from the negative may drive you towards your dream and purpose.
Right.
And you may realize, oh, I don't have to give up on my dream. I just have to rethink how I'm getting there.
Right. I think the one of the biggest mistakes, and this is something that I had to really identify with, is that your past is not your identity.
Yes.
Your past is not your identity. People have too much stake into what has happened or what has transpired or what F up they did or whatever has happened that put them into this mental state that they're currently in. They have to go and truly recognize that it is not their identity. I did a bad thing or I did bad things. I am not a bad person.
Your past helps shape your character.
Yes.
But it doesn't define you.
No.
And I always tell people, yeah, once the book has been written, or once that chapter of the book has been written,
correct,
you can't erase it.
Right.
Now, it's just part of the story.
Yeah.
That's chapter 1. Chapter 2 is what you're living now, which will shape chapter 3.
Every hero story, every movie, every book, they all have the same thing.
Yeah.
They all have a past.
Yeah.
They all have some level of history, some level of trauma that they had to overcome, that they have to surpass, that they went through, that they were a part of. They were the trauma. They were traumatizing, not just being the trauma, but they all learned from their past. These are opportunities. All of it is opportunities. There's no bad thing. It's just education.
Yes.
It's only bad if you don't get educated from it.
You have to know how to walk away, and you got to know how to let go.
Yeah, man.
And probably the biggest thing, you got to know how to forgive yourself. Forget forgiving other people.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Because everybody has some deep-rooted shit that nobody understands or knows about, that you can't let go of. You can't walk away from it because you can't forgive yourself for being that person in the past. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. And unless you can do that,
yeah,
then all of these battles, these wars that you're battling every day, the demons that you fight within yourself, and then you make them attack the people in your life, all of those things will continue to happen because you can't let it go.
Yeah. It's like one time I told my wife, I was like, you can't hurt me more than I hurt myself. There's nothing that you can do verbally, mentally,
Right,
more than what I do to myself. I am 100 and 100. I am 10 for 10.
Right.
It's like going to the free throw line and I do not want, and I bank each and every shot in. Yeah, you can't beat this. Don't want to play horse with me because I always win.
Yeah.
There's no way you're going to beat me with this. So don't worry. Just whatever it is you have to say, just say it. That's how we come through it, and we're going to get through it.
Don't worry about hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
Speak your mind.
Yeah.
And then we let it go.
Right.
I think one of the take-home messages today, man, is that we all need to learn how to let it go.
We need to learn to let it go.
Why'd I know a song was coming?
Oh man, I don't even know that's a song. I just had to sing it anyway.
Right?
Because it's real. We have to let it go. We have to see the half full. We just have to see the half full. We have to see the opportunity and everything, but also know that there's a level of emptiness that needs to go away and walk away from.
And if you can't walk away from it, that's your problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you let it go, I promise you others aren't going to follow. They're going to let you let it go. But if you're holding on to it, the people around you are going to feel it, and they're going to continue to feed it. Mm-hmm. So let that shit go. Walk away.
Yeah.
Dude, great podcast today, man.
Yeah.
Great podcast.
We didn't even know where that was going to go.
No. That's the whole idea of just bringing it, right?
And learn to have these conversations with people that you love. If you love somebody, you know how to have these conversations. Seriously.
Like we always say, communication is key.
Oh, man. And king.
This is what we're doing. We're communicating.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, king and queen. It's royalty.
Don't piss anybody off.
Oh, boy.
Dude. Coach, man. Always a pleasure, man. Great cocktail today. People are really digging the YouTube, so let's just keep it rolling.
Yeah, man.
Where they gonna find you, man?
At Coach KJ Knows on Instagram and CoachKJ.com. And you're gonna find us at podcastsoe.com.
As well as SOE_podcast on IG. Come meet us every Wednesday, man. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with us on Saturday. Yeah, Wednesdays. Come hang out with us on Saturdays, man. And we out.
We out.